So I was going back through the footage, and George was talking about his past moments, his favorite moments broadcasting. Shout out George Blaha. I didn't ask him about a windmill jam, but he did talk about where he, where he thinks this Pistons team is headed, and we're gonna get into that. But Killian Hayes, man, he's just obviously been this figure all season that we've been stating decisions were going to have to be made. And the way that the season started, there were some narratives that were probably out there that have followed a little bit more or stuck a little bit more than they probably needed to be. But I wanted to parse that with you, man. I wanted to talk today about Killian Hayes, his future, the decisions that have to be made, and just what you're feeling about him overall, and then talk about this future of the team that George Blaha was talking about as well. But let me get this drum roll started first. What up, though, people? Welcome to the Woodward Pistons podcast. My name is Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, and I'm going to be getting in some I promise you guys today. Jeff Freddie, Mr. Everything, and we are getting content in, but right now, I got business to handle with the legend, so we're going to get this drum roll going. Hey, yo, shout out to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard. Brother, how are you doing today?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. Able to wake up and breathe and be in my right mind. Hey, that's all I can ask for.
Hey, you know what, man? That's a blessing. That's a blessing as always. I mean, well, did you have the coffee at least? Did you have the fuel?
I'm rolling with it right here.
Goodness. What a morning. What a start. What is it supposed to be in the 50s today?
Hey, we can hope. We got to get some outside weather rocking because this is this living indoors is for the birds.
I can't, man. I can't. And you know what? I used to be one of those guys who I would take my family to the zoo. If it got just above like 33, 34, 35, we would get over there to the bird exhibit. We would get over there to the butterfly exhibit. Look, I'm serious, bro. If you've never been, we would even brave snowstorms sometimes if we knew the sun was going to be out, simply because it's a greenhouse. So you make it in there with all your clothes on. We get to the butterfly exhibit and we're like, goodness, it's hot. And so we start taking off our layers and just find a way to get a little piece of paradise in the middle of Detroit in the winters, man. But this has been one of those ones.
Kid Kool-Aid ain't having that no more.
Ugh. What'd you say?
Kid Kool-Aid ain't having that no more.
No. No, he's like, it's cold, Dad. It's cold. I couldn't tell you when he was younger, but it's cold.
He's going big time on you now.
Oh, man, I love what he's doing, man. I love what he's doing. Shout out to Kid Kool-Aid. He's doing his post-game reports. He's doing his graphics and everything. And he's going to be contributing to Woodward Pistons very, very soon, man. He wants to join the social team. He's very excited. We've been putting in the work. And I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to have him on board. But Killian Hayes, Rod. Killian Hayes, man. People, I'm in one corner of the world that's like, you know what? I can see a good backup role. I'm in another corner of the world that's like, yo, get him out of here. He's a bust. This is the worst pick ever. This is on Troy Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at here in the middle? Because I want to be fair here. The people, they look to you as the cool, calm, and collected, the reasoned, participant here. So I wanted to ask you, where are we at with Killian Hayes?
I think it's going to depend on Killian and his people and what number they're comfortable settling on. I think this is a contract decision, not a talent or an effort or anything else. What is he willing to agree to and to become as his role? Is he a backup guy who's going to take a smaller sort of contract to be that and build with this team and have a role? Understanding that Cade hasn't been healthy and there might be more opportunities there. I think that's the deal. That's completely the deal, is that they'd love to have him back, but this same type of play that he's had specifically in the past week or so needs to be who he is if he's going to stick in this league and be somebody who's going to have a permanent role on a team. And we've seen, like with an RJ Hampton, that just because you're a first rounder in that draft doesn't mean you're going to stick around. And teams are making decisions on people during that year. That whole 2020 draft is everybody's up to, hey, y'all, those rookie deals are coming up.
Pistons
got to
have
make
made a
decisions.
deal, and they got a couple of those players on the squad right now.
Yeah,
You're right.
And so you have to start saying, okay, Isaiah Stewart's up for his extension. What are we doing there? Killian's up for his, and Wiseman's up for his. What are you doing in each one of these situations? And you're just gathering all this talent. But this is what we've said all year. This is what we've said this year is about, is figuring out what stays, what goes, how do these pieces sort of fit together. And I think we've seen enough to suggest that Killian isn't a throwaway. He's just trash, and he's not going to be anything, but he's not going to be a starting level every day, pencil him in the lineup for 15 and 7.
Yeah.
That, and do his people believe that he's that? And they would say, hey, we're not taking, I don't know, 7-8 million, whatever the number ends up being. We're not taking that. We want to hold out and try to get some more from somewhere else. And then when you call around and you see somewhere else isn't offering whatever the Pistons are offering, you've got to be realistic with all of that stuff. And so that's what I think is going to be the interesting piece of all of this, is what does he think his value is, and what are the Pistons willing to pay him for that, and really what looks like a backup role for this part of his career.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you went there quickly to state that it's more about the economics, about NBA economics more so than skill, talent, or anything. Because Casey, in the last press conference, well, the last home game, the win 117-97 against the Pacers, he kind of stated that as well. You know, kind of echoing those same sentiments with Killian Hayes. He stated that he said that Killian Hayes' purpose on this team is as one of the better, passers and playmakers on this squad. So he serves a role. And that's what I'm trying to say. He's showing that there is definitely a role for him, or fit for him. Like we saw that there's a fit for Saddiq Bey. I believe that there was a world where they could have made Saddiq Bey work, but they had other options. And based on the economics of it all, and what Saddiq Bey wanted to be paid in the future, which was going to be more than short-term options and potential long-term options at the same position with similar impacts, they made a decision to like we stated, to make sure that this upcoming season is one in which they can be in a position to win. With Killian, I wrote an article about this, and that was kind of my same thinking based on a lot of things you said throughout the years. I've said, and we've talked about with Jeff and others, is that he's proven he can play in the backup spot, man. I was looking at the numbers. He's just at about where we wanted. We said, can he get to 10-5? I wanted his rebounds up a little bit more, but he just doesn't play physical in the paint. So at some point in time, we have to accept, what is he at? 2.8 rebounds per game, I believe, 6.1 assists per game, about 9.6 points per game. That, to me, it's solid backup numbers. And I looked at his assists overall as well. He's tied right now for 19th in assists per game at 6.1. I think that the way the numbers put him, it put him at like 21st, I believe. And when I actually looked in, I was like, whoa, he's actually tied with some really good players. And I think in total assists, Killian Hayes is 16th. He's proving, man, that his playmaking ability is his strength. And what is really starting to speak to me is this. If this roster was better, would we get a better Killian Hayes? Is he a product of more or less the roster? I mean, he's getting, I know his style of play. I don't like how non-aggressive and kind of passive he is to the rack. And when he gets into the paint, shying away from contact, and his numbers, they show that with the lack of free throw numbers and whatnot. But I was wondering, with these assist numbers, with the players he has right now, with the effect he's having in the assist to turnover ratios and such, if this roster was a little bit better, does he have a much better impact? Or is he kind of he's just Killian Hayes? Like what we kind of see right now is what we're getting. Because that's kind of where I'm at. I believe what we've seen this year, unless he can get that 3-point percentage up over 30%, this is kind of, I believe, what we get.
Yeah, and my gut says this is just who he is and what he is. A better roster doesn't necessarily mean a drastic increase in his production and his numbers. We've seen that even in a starting role with Cade and with all of the other toys around him, he still kind of produces at the same level. He is what he is. So the if he's going to play better, then everybody else is going to play around him better. So I would say it actually works the other way. It's not the roster around him dictates what his production is. His production dictates what the rest of the roster around him does, which is kind of a weird way to look at it. But that's what point guards should be. You want that to say, hey,
I love that nuance point. I love that point.
It's on you. You play better, we play better. And we've seen it with, and I'm not going to do the comparison. He's not Cade. Cade is a different player. But with Cade in the lineup, things happen. Cade makes things happen for whoever. If it's me and you and two other dudes out there, Cade is going to make stuff happen for us. Yep. Killian doesn't play make the same sort of way, but he gets the job done in the way that he gets it done. And I don't want to get into sample sizes and all of that stuff, but just looking at some of Killian's stuff, his numbers are picking up, which suggests that he's starting to figure it out. But
it's almost like he's figuring out what he can be. Like when he settles into kind of that backup role, spot starter duty, it just kind of fits him. It just does. And I know that I've seen other people talk about, long term, is he effectively the Pistons' Ricky Rubio? Is he that type of a player?
That may be it. Defense? That may be it. And that's not a terrible thing, but all right, I'll take I want to take some kind of sample size to get something. So last 7 games, 10.9 points, 8.3 assists. And
I didn't know the assists for that. I know the 3-point shot has been a little low.
6% from 3. That is no good. that is me numbers.
No good.
That's scary numbers, but that's me number. What is that? 1 of 7, 10, 1 of 17. Yeah, that's not what you want,
bro. And I feel like I set myself up for this too, man. I remember in the beginning of the year, I was like, you know what? If he's shaking them confidently, though, I'll be okay with it. Then you see it, and it's like, ooh.
So here's what I was gonna say. Is that we said this year was an important year for Killian to show us what he is. Yeah. Do you know right now? And if it's still wait and see because we don't know, maybe that is a sign that you do know. Because how long do you really need? He's played 156 games in his career, so call that 2 seasons. By the time we're done, 2 full seasons.
Yeah, he got his full off season.
Finally. Again, I don't know if you can say that's it. We're done here. And that's who he is. But maybe who he is a backup who what's a reasonable backup contract number that you're willing to pay a backup?
That's what I was looking at as well. I was trying to look at other situations, guards from his draft class and such, and based on production and where contracts are headed, it's looking like somewhere between that 8 to 12 million for a decent, for a primo, not the spot duty like your third guard or your fourth guard. I mean, if it's your third guard, it's in your 3-guard rotation. I mean, your first guard off the bench. Those guys were getting about, I think, 7, 8 to 12. And the guys that he's in line with, really the guys closer on the 8 to 10 range in terms of stat production. If you believe that he's going to get a little bit better, I can see them going a little bit higher. But when you start getting close to that $15 million range, that's just obviously you're not paying Killian Hayes $15 million a year. $12 million even for me, that's a stretch. That's huge stretch. Like, I have to love you. I gotta know, like, there's something that's going to come about with the 3-point shooting. There's something that's going to come about with getting to the line a little bit more. And there's something that's going to come about where when we need to put the ball in your hands, you can make a play, even if that's not playmaking. Let me know, bro. Let me know. I see the face. Let me know, man.
I'm looking at I'm trying to find a comp, and KPJ was the first one that was sort of like, And it's not Keldon Johnson. That's not.
Mm-mm. I was looking at a player that's not necessarily a guard in Cam Reddish for kind of similar, at least similar situations, or that they're not the same player, the same type of player. That was the one that kind of I was like,
Maybe. Maybe. Did Kobe White get paid?
I didn't. I saw his name. I didn't
No,
check into that.
he's still on his still rookie deal.
Bro, that draft class is waiting it out, huh?
Yeah, this is 19. I'm trying to find somebody who got their second deal and who's in a similar sort of role. Cam Reddish might be the closest that would. Did PJ Washington get paid?
PJ Washington's another one.
He did not. Yeah. So you need somebody who's on that second contract to say, THT.
Those guys aren't getting paid, bro.
Okay, so Horton Tucker got 10.3 and 11. So he got a 3. He got 3 and 31. Is that kind of the window that you kind of see? Maybe. I think he's about right there. Taylor Horton Tucker is actually a pretty good.
That's a great comp, bro. That's all I've been trying to say. I've been over here like, man, that's really good comp and situation. And I'm just like, yo, yeah. My head was 3 in this morning. I was I got in the notes 3 for 27 to 3 for maybe 31, 32 on the high end. On the highest end.
I'm guessing you can give him 3 and 30. I'd love 3 and 27. Okay, Cody Martin got he's getting 7.5 up to 8 in his extension. So maybe Cody Martin is about somewhere in that range, about 8 to 10 or 11. I wouldn't go higher than 33. And Cody Martin is a second round pick, so that's the other kind of tough part of this. Is
man, that's tough.
Bruno Fernando got he got 4 and 11.
4 and 11.
And he was a high second round pick. KZ, no new contract.
So Killian is a unique case to a degree.
Ooh, Dylan Windler. Dylan Windler might be it. Nope, no new contract. Wow. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find a good comp and say, did he? Ooh, Nasir Little.
Did he get his?
He got his, but he got like 7. Call it 7.
Yo, 8 for Killian? I would sign up for that. To know at worst he's going to be your 4th guard. Like, if you
I mean, that's
more like a scoop or something.
Yeah. Okay, Grant Williams is the high end, and he didn't get paid yet, did he?
No, what he says he's looking for what, 20 a year? He turned down
Grant Williams?
Yeah. I think he turned down, when I was looking at the numbers this morning, they say he turned down what, a $50 million extension? And that the rumor was that he was looking for 20.
Grant, you're not that dude. You're not that dude.
I gotta find that report, bro. I do because that was one where I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna look at Grant Williams, and he's just not anywhere in this. Like him and Sadiq Bey, they're somewhere off on another island by themselves right now.
Yeah, because Tyler Hero is high 20s, and he's definitely not that. Did Cam Johnson get his? I thought Cam Johnson just got paid. Nope, Cam did not.
Yeah. Sports Illustrated. Grant Williams reportedly seeking contract and a $20 million annually range.
That's brave.
According to the Stein line, Mark Stein.
That's brave. Whew, you gotta show up to work like that and just be like, hey, I'm looking for 20.
When I saw that, my mind instantly went to the other individuals that we have to make a decision on. And that was Isaiah Stewart. I was sitting here like, man, if Grant Williams is seeking 20, I was sitting here before, bro, people was telling us 15 for Isaiah Stewart was extremely high. And we said we would on the high end at that time do it. When I started seeing this, and then Sadiq, I instantly was like, dude, I need to talk to Rod. Like, what is Stu gonna be able to come in your face?
I mean, Stu is in that. Stu is easily 15.
Yeah.
Easily. I could be his agent and get him 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This free agency is going to be a weird one, man. It is. I feel like there's going to be a lot of these types of players on the move come to draft time. I really do. I be like, these are the players that could be involved in throw-ins. These are the guys that could be involved in just kind of fillers. These are guys that could be, hey, they're still a prospect. Are you willing to trade my prospect for a shot at you might have missed your guy in the draft? Someone picked him before you. I could see a lot of these guys from Killian's draft pick just the same way that they've been flying around at the trade deadline. You know,
and who do you want judging your talent when that happens? Troy Weaver. That's the dude that I want when you're doing your monopoly trades and somebody's offering you this and it doesn't look like there's any value in it. And who's the other guy on the other end? It's Troy. Hey, yeah, that's just me.
Yep, and they got assets too. That's what we were talking about, is that at the end of this thing, no matter what you believe about the year, wins and losses, they're going to wind up with a lot of assets. And then people were sitting here when they went and kicked the tires on RJ Hampton and James Wiseman. We answered the questions on, he's just always with reclamation projects. We were like, no, this is about flipping as many assets as you can, because you're going into an off season where you have a lot of teams that are trying to bolster themselves at the top. You have a lot of teams at the bottom who have made some really good draft picks, and they need to take the next step forward, or else what are you doing with your draft picks from 2, 3, 4 years ago? You wind up in a weird situation, so it's, man, Troy Weaver has put the Detroit Pistons in a firm position to be as wild as, Bojan Bogdanovic, as Mason calls him, man, it can be. Troy Weaver said that they're trying to get crazy this offseason, and it's like, when you look at what they have to work with now, he has the ability now, whether these players long-term or not are going to pan out to their potential. He has what he needs in the chamber, though, to at least face somebody down and say, bro, you don't even want to get shot by a rubber bullet that I may have in this chamber.
So here's the other thing, and we said this before, but I want people to keep this in mind. When James Wiseman comes to the negotiating table on his rookie extension, and he has his Golden State body of work and what he's done here, he can say, hey, I've done a little bit of something, but is he coming into the table asking for 20? He can't. He can't go to the table and ask for 20. So you've kind of kept him, and you got him in a spot where you say, hey, we're coming to the table this year, and here's the number.
Brilliant, bro.
Wait, for RJ Hampton. Can RJ Hampton step to the table and say he wants 10 or 15? He can't, because he doesn't have anything really to show for it. So now Troy is coming to the table at a position of strength with guys. Hey, give me a prove it contract. Give me 2 in, if you're Wiseman, give me 2 and 25 and show.
It's a Bagley deal.
And show me. So he's extending the line a little bit more in the short term. And if Wiseman comes to fruition in 2 more years, guess what you've done? You've given yourself 2 more years with a reasonable cap number on Wiseman to be able to do something else. All of these things are short term. What's the longest contract that's on the books right now? Like 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, like we said, to match up with the windows.
So he's dealing in windows. So people are asking, why Wiseman, why Hampton, why any of these other guys that you're taking shots on? If Killian gets something, you think Killian's getting a 5-year deal? No, Killian's probably gonna get a 2-year deal. This whole idea about these are bad signings and you're wasting money, you're throwing money at stuff, you're throwing short-term money at stuff. Even Bogey is a short-term deal.
Short-term deal. You're not short-term deal.
You're not dealing in these absolutes of I'm building my team around anybody right now. So, yep, I'm gonna leave you on that because that's the whole thing that
That's
this
it.
is about. Is that it's a swing, but it's not a home run swing, and
Yep.
it's saying these are guys that have to still show me something before I throw a bag at them.
Yep. And honestly, as it relates to the future of the team, my last words, you guys will see the interview with George Blaha that we did. This is what he was talking about. He said he understands the wins and losses in the road right now looks a little bumpy and a little rocky, but out of all the years of basketball he's seen, he equated this rebuild to the Ben Wallace years. How at first it didn't really look like this thing was going to be too solid. But out of nowhere, with just a few tweaks, man, like that going to work team was just a few tweaks in like a
Yep.
year, man. This team was instantly a player. They were just then a player away from like the championships. Like, so George Blah is saying that this team, the way it's being built up, Troy Weaver's approach to it, and the types of players that he's identifying and sticking with, it's not like he's like, oh, Killian Hayes is my starting point guard no matter what. No, he's like, hey, look, can you get a backup guard now? Can you lock down a backup role? Hey, he's putting a team in a position to honestly have success moving forward. And to hear it from a legend like Blaha, who's seen a lot of basketball, 3 championships from the Pistons, 3 from the Shock, and seeing them built the right way, I'm gonna listen to that, man. I'm gonna believe that.
Yep, absolutely.
But let me sign off on this, man. And look, I'm about to get out to Woodward, man. Have some fun with Jeff Iafrady. But look, guys, my name is Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, and for the legend. Hey, yo, signing off for Detroit News Rod Beard. Thank you guys for tuning in to Woodward Pistons. Put in the comments what you would do with Killian Hayes. Contract, if there's a player comp, anything that we missed. If you think we're being too nice to Killian or too soft on Killian or too hard on Killian, let us know. I'm sure you're going to anyway. But no, as always, man, I love it. I appreciate you all being here. Have a great day. Till next time, you all.